Welcome back to Dog Turds into Diamonds. Is this episode 13 or 14? I'm really losing track now. We're well into it. I think this might be 14. Um, we are up for a huge game today. We are up against last season's champions, Bromsgrove Sporting. They were beaten in the playoffs last season, and they started this season really poorly, but as you can see, they are up to 4th place in the league. They are the form team. If we just have a look at their results, they are going absolutely great guns. You can see they started the season very poorly, lots of defeats, but they are now on a run of 5 games unbeaten, 4 wins and a draw in that time, and taking out their cup defeats there, they've actually gone, let's have a look, 6 wins and a draw in their last 7 games. They've only had 1 defeat in their last 9. They are absolutely rocketing up the league and really putting pressure now on Colville for that 3rd place and the third playoff place there. We do have a healthy lead over Colville and Bromsgrove Sporting, but we only have a 4-point lead over Banbury, and they have a game in hand. And that is because we have kind of hit a bit of a rocky patch. We have turned into a bit of a basket case team since the last time we were here. So last time we were here, we played Kidderminster in the FA Trophy 2nd round. Obviously lost that game against the Vanarama North team. We then, straight after that, went to play away at Barwell in the league. They were 19th in the league in the relegation zone, and you can see here we ended up being well beaten 2-0. It was a real surprise, but you know what? I have to take responsibility for this. Barwell played with Tuchel's Chelsea formation. They played a back 3, and they played with 2 number 10s behind a striker. And you know what? I was so overconfident that I didn't make any adjustments tactically to deal with those 2 number 10s. And in the end, in the second half of the game, they kind of made the difference. Stevens getting the 2nd goal in the 65th minute, and he really laid it on us in the second half. It was a very disappointing performance. You can see we did have more possession and more shots, but they got more shots on target. It was just very flat. I did also make a number of changes here, as you can see from the starting 11. Fenlon was playing on the right wing. Collard came into the team, but really we should have done much better. So that was a really disappointing performance. Coolthurst up front with Brown Sterling had another quiet game as well, and that really just stopped us kind of running away with the league. We then played Tamworth at home, who are also right up there in the league, and here we had a fantastic performance. Damali Brown Sterling and Eric Bougarine got the goals for us. You can see we were totally dominant, played them off the park, and it's a little bit unfortunate because Eric Bougarine, since you were last here, has really started to come into form. He's been really developing well, although you see a lot of down arrows right now. He has been developing very well, but the bad news is, as you can see here, he is joining in January. We're 31st of December. On the 3rd of January, in just a few days' time, he is moving to La Nucia in Spain. They offered him a contract. I wanted to offer him a contract renewal, but although he did want to stay, he recognized that we just didn't have the finances to offer him anything. So he is going to La Nucia, and he is going to receive, I think, £825 a week there, which we just could not compete with. So that's really unfortunate because, as you can see, he's started to get in on the goals. In the league, in 11 appearances and 5 starts, he's got 6 goals and 5 assists. He has been absolutely fantastic of late. I think he's a fantastic young prospect, the ex-Wolves player. And yeah, so we are about to lose him. The only good thing about that is that he earns £375 a game and £110 if he's an unused substitute. So it's kind of a plus that we're getting that off of the wage bill, because we are kind of £420 a week over the wage bill. So this is going to bring us right down to our more or less our wage limit. It's going to make it negligible. So it does help in that sense, but I'm really disappointed to be losing such a good prospect. Really, really good little player. I'm certainly going to keep an eye on him after he leaves and see if perhaps in the future there's an opportunity to bring him back, because he is just a wonderful, wonderful prospect. I mean, the only thing I have noticed here is that his heading when he came to us was 13, I think, and it's now 11. So that has kind of dropped off considerably, I guess as a result of not having regular training. We only train twice a week, of course. But yeah, that's kind of a disappointing move, particularly because the Shack attack, Shaka Coolthirst, really, he's not been getting goals. He does perform in terms of assists and team play, but we can't rely on him for goals. So for Bugarin to be leaving is very disappointing. From there, we then had the first of a really crazy little sequence of results. You can see here, we dominated the game against Biggleswade. They went down to 10 men in the 56th minute. They did take the lead in this game, but we got back into it through Stott. Brown Sterling then put us ahead. We were then 3-1 up, and we're just going to watch these goals here because it was an absolutely nuts game. We were a man up, 3-1 up, 10 minutes to go, and as you can see there, they got a draw out of it. Let's watch this. So they took the lead through that really great free kick. We've started to have a spell of conceding free kicks again. Stott heads in from O'Hara's free kick. And then in the second half, after the sending off, we just take control. Brown Sterling on target, as is so often the case. And then straight away, we're 3-1 up. Waddington with a brilliant long shot. And at this point, I took us back to a positive mentality, to a balanced mentality. I was time wasting. I did everything right. And in the 94th minute, Pitts Eckersall grabs the draw for them. I did feel like this was an FMing. As soon as they got that second free kick and made it 3-2, I kind of felt like, okay, I know where this is going. And right at the end there, when the highlights started again, I just got that feeling in the pit of my stomach where you know what's going to happen. You can see they had a 0.95 XG, and they've ended up getting the point. So that was really disappointing because it did allow Banbury to just close things up in the league. We then had a really tired team. We played Leiston at home. Our poor results do seem to come at home. We played Leiston at home, and as you can see, 7-4 the final score. It was an absolutely bonkers game. I made massive changes. It was pretty much a changed 11. I think we might have had maybe 3 or 4 regulars in. But this one was just crazy. Basically, virtually every shot they had went in. This was early on in the game. We are conceding absolute worldies every game at the moment. We did then, of course, get back into it and take control. Leiston are 21st in the league. Bugarin with an absolutely cracking goal. Then Fenlon getting in on the act to tee up Bugarin, who then sets up Hughes for another goal. And then this lovely team goal finished by Jack Brown. Brown and Hughes were absolutely sensational in this game. Hughes gets his second. Another really nice team goal, nice passing moves. And then the craziness happens. Bollard at the near post gets them back into it. I think that made it 4-2. And we then took control again. I mean, the fans must have been absolutely loving it here as Hughes gets his hat-trick. And we then just continue to pile on the misery here for them as Bougarine gets in again. So sad to be losing him. And then the goals just continue to flow. An absolutely awful error from Luke Elsom. I mean, we knew we were going to win at this stage, but it was a very irritating game. Ravi Shamsi coming off the bench to get himself a goal as well, which is nice. He's had limited opportunities. But then another goal for them as Barnes at the back post made it 7-4. An absolutely awful defensive game. Again, we had a 1.82 XG against us, conceded 4 goals. They only had 38% of the possession. Again, you can see the changes we made. Fenlon, Greenwood, Collard, Turner, Waddington and Bougarine all came into the team as we rested a number of regular starters. But a really irritating result. And you can see it's been a long time now. It's been 5 games since we had a clean sheet. Although 2 of those are friendlies. We've had a long rest before this game against Bromsgrove Sporting. So I organised a couple of friendlies to try and help us with the financial situation. Particularly against Wellingborough Town. I think we had to pay them £500 to come to the friendly. And we made £3,000 off of that, with it being a local derby. So very good to be able to use those 3 weeks to get a couple of friendlies in. And against Farsley in the last league game that we played, Farsley are down in the bottom half of the table. And here we just really played them off the park. Disappointing that we couldn't keep a clean sheet again. But Thomas Hughes getting another goal. He is back playing as striker, with Bougarine and Coulthurst just really struggling to score regular goals. I moved Hughes back into the attacking position. He's been so good as the number 10, but I just moved him back into the striker's position because I wanted 2 goal threats up front, and Jack Brown behind is just obviously a supreme playmaker at our level. So he came back in as number 10, Hughes up front, and they were both absolutely fantastic. The first teamers all came back in, a really good confident performance, and we came out 3-1 winners. Now, the only disappointment is that we arranged a friendly against Welsh side TNS. Fortunately, won that friendly, which was a good confidence booster, but Jim Fenlon has picked up an injury. He has broken his foot and he is out for another 4 months. It was going to cost nearly £4,000 to send him to a specialist. There was no way I was going to add that onto the debt that the club already has. So he is out for 4 months. A really disappointing loss. He can play right back or left back. He's been a semi-regular in the team. You can see he's made 15 appearances this season. It's a real shame to lose him, not least because he is wanted by, at the moment, Enfield Town, but he has had a number of clubs interested in him. And Enfield Town, you can see they're an Isthmian League team, but he has actually had a lot of interest from teams higher up the pyramid in the Vanarama North and South. So I guess we're not going to lose him right now because he's injured. But yeah, disappointing that we lose him from the squad because we can't really afford to bring anybody else in. So that's where we are right now. First place, 4th in the league. We are on kind of shaky form. We've won 3 of the last 4, I guess, but defensively we look very suspect. Bromsgrove look great. Apart from that, the only news right now is with Bougarine leaving, I am looking. I've got a bunch of players in on trial who are available for loan. I don't know enough about them, but I'm going to look at them over the next few weeks and look to see if there's any loans that we can bring in without costing us any money. I do have, with Hughes moving forward into the striker's position, I do have a midfielder that I've been looking at since the summer, who I would love to bring in. But right now he kind of wants, I think, over £400 a week. So it's not a deal that I can do right now, and I don't want to plunge the club back over the wage budget too much. So I think I'm going to leave that, and we're going to be looking at loan options. But anyway, for today's game, Callum Ferry is back in goal. Williams, Richardson, Stott, Warburton are our first choice defence. Haseman, James and Jamie O'Hara make up the midfield. And then it's Jack Brown, Brown Sterling and Thomas Hughes up front. Just a word on Thomas Hughes again. I know we've been really singing his praises. You can see he's got 15 goals and 10 assists this season in 18 games. Absolutely phenomenal start to his career with us. And he is now he's got our highest average rating, and he has the most assists for the season. So I mean, he is just a massive game changer for us. I feel like after we've had that little stutter with the defeat and the silly draw and then the 7-4 game, I kind of feel like if we can have a big performance here against the form team in the league, it would just kind of establish us again as the dominant side and really put us on that run towards hopefully taking control of this league and sealing up the title as early as possible. So we go into this now and just trying to learn from the games where we've slipped up, learn from the Kidderminster game as well. I am going to make a couple of little changes. So if we just go in here, before I do the team talk, tactically, I am just here going to take off play out of defence because they have got their striker, 2 wingers and a number 10. I think that's going to be hard to play out from. So we are going to look to maybe play a little bit more direct in that sense. That aside, I'm not going to change anything else tactically for now. We'll see how things are going. And do we tell them to pick up where they left off? I guess I will go with my assistant. Pick up from where you left off. Well done, assistant. Well done, Mr. Llewellyn. I don't know which of the 2 Llewellyns it is, but he's done a good job with his recommendation there. So the team are well up for this. And it's just now about seeing where we stand against the reigning champions, the defending champions. They are playing like champions now, but we are the champions elect. Can we really stamp our authority on this team and on this league once again? We've only had 2 defeats in the league this season, but we haven't been able to shake off Banbury yet. As it's into Brown Sterling from Hughes, and that's a really good block on the line for them. A really good start for us, really positive. Hopefully this is the way the game continues as they get rid of the corner. Yeah, I thought the highlight was going to finish. It did drag on a little bit. So we've had the first 2 highlights of the game. We've had a couple of shots. We are in control as it stands, as Hughes gets a chance there. And can we now really start to turn the screw on Bromsgrove Sporting? Let's just encourage the players here, see how they respond. They like that. It seems that early on in the game, before there's really been any goals scored, encouraging seems to work better than later on, as they now get a corner. And we're perhaps lucky to get away with that as they head that wide. We now get our own corner. We've only had one shot on target, but it is now in, and it's been disallowed. Why has that been disallowed? The assistant referee has his flag raised, and yeah, I guess Hughes did touch that. I think if he hadn't have touched that, that was going in anyway from Brown-Sterling. Hughes getting a little bit greedy there. Right, I'll tell them they've been the better team. I'm not going with my assistant on this one. Let's really get the boys motivated up for this second half. I guess a draw would be a decent result against a good team away from home, but I would really like a statement victory here. Let's just encourage them again. Not really responding to that. And there's just been no highlights. We've been absolutely dominant, but there's been no highlights. Let's demand more here, just for the last few minutes. What change can we make as O'Toole puts a free kick in, and we've given away a penalty? I do not believe it. And I am now having absolute flashbacks to the end of last season. Brilliant save from Ferry. Well done. That would have been so undeserved had they managed to get that. Let's make a couple of changes here. James is very, very tired. I think I'm going to bring on Waddington. Or do I drop Jack Brown back into the midfield maybe and bring on Bougarine up front for his farewell appearance? I think I am going to do that. Eric Bougarine, who has scored a number of goals lately, is going to come on. Jack Brown will become a midfielder and Thomas will take up the number 10 role. So let's have Hazeman as the ball winning midfielder. That is technically his best position. And Jack Brown, I think we're going to make him a box-to-box midfielder here. I really don't want to make any other changes. Jamie Stott is very tired as well, but I just don't want to disrupt too much what we're doing here. Those are the changes I'm going to make. Let's see if Eric Bougarine can sign off with a little bit of magic for us. As we get a free kick. And Brown-Sterling just over the bar there. Another highlight. 5 minutes to go. They get control of it. They have not been in this game at all besides the penalty. But they might now have a chance. Hazeman cleaning up nicely at the back. Fantastic defensive midfielder, Hazeman. And we get it back again. Who is going to get the final chance of this game? Is there a goal in this? They're doing a really good job of defending us. We can't get that forward ball. Bougarine combining with Hughes. Hughes finds Brown-Sterling. And we have got a deserved winner. Absolutely fantastic goal. Beautiful team move again. A nice little spell of possession. Good patience. Bougarine combining with Hughes, who finds Brown-Sterling. And now we just need to set the instructions to try and tie this game up. A little bit less width. Take off the overlaps. And we are going to go full time wasting and be far more disciplined with the ball. Hold shape, slow it down. And we are just going to get stuck in as well, just to try and intimidate them in the last few minutes. That is a really good performance against the form team in the league and a really great victory. Yes, we had a little bit of luck with the penalty. A really important save from Callum Ferry. But we did deserve that result in the end. I think that is well deserved. And that just gives me the confidence now. A really good away win there just gives me the confidence that we can once again establish ourselves as the dominant team in the league. And hopefully just really now in the second half of the season go forward and really build up the confidence for those playoffs at the end of the season. Ferry, absolutely fantastic. The first time I think I've ever had to praise a goalkeeper, but well done, Ferry. Really good. And we are now 5 unbeaten, 4 wins and a draw. Hopefully we can start building on that, make it into a really big run. When might we be back? Let's have a look. Coming up, we have got. I think we'll leave January. We'll leave it a little while until we come back. We could come back for the derby game against Bedford in February, or maybe, I think looking at it there, it's very clear. The 4th of March, we face Banbury at home, 1st versus 2nd as it stands right now, unless one of us has a real falling off over the next couple of months. So I think that is when we will be back, the start of March, to take on Banbury. And you can see there, Demalia Brown-Sterling is now the top scorer in the league, above Hitchens, Callum Stead. Thomas Hughes is the highest rated player in the league. We really are now starting to hopefully establish ourselves as the dominant side. Let's hope we can keep this going, and we will see you back at the start of March in the next episode. Hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the page, and help us out by sharing the video. I've wanted this just to try and be its own thing and hopefully just grab an audience. But if you are enjoying it, you can help us out with that. I'm trying to refrain from sort of doing any advertising or whatever. I just wanted to see if it would just get a natural life of its own. So if you are enjoying it, help us to grow by sharing it with your friends, just telling your friends about it, and hopefully this can become something a little bit bigger in the future. Thanks very much. We will see you next time on Dog Turds into Diamonds.